Hi, and welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today we're going to talk about, are you ready to spend 24/7, 365 days a year with your spouse or your significant other? Um, Going into retirement, suddenly you don't have um, that job to go to anymore, and you're certainly not going to be away from each other. So are you ready for that? And you really kind of know exactly what all of that's going to entail. Um, Maybe the pandemic showed us to some degree a little bit of what it's like to be trapped at home. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're trapped with your spouse, but we couldn't go anywhere. Many of us weren't working. We couldn't do anything. We were just home. Excuse me. Um, so it's easy when you go to work and you're apart and you've got your routines. Um, my wife had retired almost 3 years ahead of me, and so she had her routine. What she was doing, what she was used to doing, and and I, of course, once I retired, I completely disrupted that. You know, so it was, were we ready for it? Now, for us, we were. Um, we are compatible in so many ways. So we have many interests that are perfectly aligned. And the few that we don't, she does her thing and I kind of maybe do mine, and we're okay with that. We have the time that we give to one another to let the other do their thing without interruption, and it works out just fine. But you have to ask yourself, are you ready to do that? Are you able to communicate, freely and honestly with what you want, what you need, what you expect? It's kind of interesting. I was looking up some stats. So 1 out of 10 people are 65 and older. And they're getting divorced. That's like roughly 10% of divorces involve people, over 60. That's a significant amount of people that are getting divorced. They call it the gray divorce. Um, it's a lot harder for women to recover from a divorce at that age in their life. So it's something, to think about. Now, I am not, as I quote the statistics, I am not advocating to anyone to stay in a marriage you're not happy with. Whether it's you're just unhappy, you're not compatible anymore, and certainly anyone that might be in an abusive situation, yes, by all means, get out and get out as quickly as you can. But sometimes you maybe just run out of gas and you're just like, okay, what are we doing? And suddenly you're like spending all that time together, and you really maybe didn't think about that, didn't prepare for that. You both weren't on the same page as much as you thought. And certainly, a lot of the stresses that come from divorces at that age are due to financial matters. As things get tougher, someone suddenly wants more freedom, more independence. So, there's a lot of things that take place that you really got to prepare for. You got to talk with each other about and figure out. People that are 50, the rate for 50-year-old getting divorced is rising. Back in 2010, it was 27% of people who were 50 and older who got divorced. In 2019, that had risen to 36%. So a lot of what happens is, you're just you want different things, and you don't communicate enough. So it's a matter of making sure that you are prepared, because you gotta have time crafted out for yourself as well as each other. Now, whether you're going to travel, or what you may do in your retirement, you're traveling, you probably are a-okay because you made plans to be together. You're going to travel together. If you're home, okay, then you got to be going, okay, what am I doing? What is each other doing? So that we don't kind of invade each other's space and give each other that bit of peace and tranquility that they're looking for, whatever they're doing. Whether your significant other retires before you, after you, are you both retiring at the same time? A lot of things to think about, a lot of things to talk about. Because it's really important that to be successful, you are really taking care of those communication skills. So take a moment. If you like my content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have comments about today's subject, please feel free to leave them. Where do you fall in at whether you think you're okay with 24/7 with your significant other? Love to hear from you. So keep in mind, it's a small trap that you may fall into unwittingly because you really didn't maybe discuss it enough. You weren't prepared enough for it. You never thought that it was going to be something that could potentially be a hit and something you would need to discuss. My wife and I, we've been together a long time, and we knew each other well before we were married. So for us, we were friends long before we got married, and it made for an easy way for us to transition, in our marriage, for things that we like and get along with and like to do together, and understand, like what my wife likes to do and enjoy, and it doesn't include me, and I'm a-okay with it. And the same with me. I'm doing these videos, and I'm really loving it. It's a lot of fun to do, and I enjoy it. And my wife actually encourages me. It might be her way of having me get out of the house, but either way, it works for us. So keep all of that in mind. Think about your communication. Think about, are you really all set for 24/7, 365 days a year? So with that, I'm going to say have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.